Woodland Park is a small park tucked away in the hills of Maindee in Newport. The Woodlanders are a group who help look after it, and we love apples. We wanted to create a small community orchard set in a wildflower meadow, like this one near Monmouth. We chose a secluded part of the park for our orchard, in an area of grassland. We planted 10 apple trees of traditional varieties, 2 pears and a damson. We want to turn the rough grassland around the trees into a lovely meadow with traditional meadow flowers. First, with the help of volunteers from Monmouthshire Building Society, we put in some wildflower plants we had grown and some seeds. Then this year we have involved 3 local schools, St Joseph's, Eveswell and Fair Oak Nursery, who will each have a patch to look after. First we gave the ground a severe scarifying and prepared some planting holes. Then each school came along to plant a tree and put in wildflower plugs and seeds. They also enjoyed a range of apple-related activities, including making apple bird feeders and wildlife art. Some of the ground has been planted with wildflower plugs and some with seeds, and we hope in years to come the schools will be able to monitor the success of each approach, as well as enjoy fruit from their trees. We have been given advice from Gwent Wildlife Trust, and Andy Karen came along to talk to us about how to care for our trees and meadow.
Hi, I'm Andy from Gwent Wildlife Trust. I'm the local wildlife site officer, and I'm here at Woodland Park, Newport, sort of take a look at the orchard and the new meadow planting and give a bit of advice on how to manage it. Look at the orchard first. So we've got how many trees we've got in here? How many trees is it?
About
12. Okay, so nice many trees, and they're all nicely spaced out. It's more like a sort of traditional orchard. So hopefully there'll be lots of space between the trees for wildflowers to come up as well, which is all good. So they're all in now, and they're staked, and they've got their weed-free circles, so all the bare earth around here, which is important when the tree's first growing. If there's lots of grass and weeds around there, all the nutrients go into them and the tree gets stunted, doesn't grow as well. So it'll be advisable to keep this weed-free circle for the first few years, and then after that you can sort of forget about it, kind of thing. And so the trees are staked, so they should be okay. And obviously in a few years' time you want to make sure that you got that rubber bit around holding the stake on them, it doesn't all get too tight. So sometimes you can have ones you can maybe loosen off, but when the tree gets a bit higher, I think it's going to be fine. So I just take the stake away and just let the tree do its thing. Obviously, if you want people to come out here and if you want to be able to prune the trees without getting ladders on, which is going to be difficult on the slope as well, and you want the public to be able to come along and get the apples, it's as well to keep them at a reasonably small size. So sort of, particularly if you sort of prune them at the top, hopefully they'll bush out a bit and you'll get more growth. All this great planting's been done here by the various schools, and it's great this because wildflower meadows, there used to be an awful lot of them, but there's been a 97% decrease in the last 70 or 80 years, which is dreadful, but it's very important to create this, and even if it's only a small area, it's still provide a nice bit of habitat for the wildlife, but probably more importantly it'll sort of educate the children of the importance of it and get them enthused, and hopefully some of them will go on and take a real interest throughout their lives. So basically we've got the plugs here and we've got the wildflower seeds. So the children come back next year, and it'd probably be good, maybe the first thing they could do is just straight away just sort of a visual assessment, just stood here, and they'll have to decide which has been the most successful in terms of which is maybe the most flowery, and then they can actually then, once they've made that initial assessment, then go in there and do a little bit more in-depth sort of science with it. So maybe if they all had a little laminated card of all the flowers from all the different plugs that have been put in, then they can all go out and then they can all see if they can find how many off the list, and then they can tick off how many of the plugs have actually survived, and probably interested to see maybe how many have actually flowered or just survived. And then they could maybe, even with the plugs, they could even go around counting how many of each, which would be quite nice, do little tally charts or whatever. The orchard we've got there, and with the wildflower seeds here, one of the great things is really good for pollinators, which are sort of the buzzword at the moment kind of thing. Everyone's sort of pollinates, but it is vital. They're pollinating our food, but they're also providing food for all sorts of other wildlife. So hopefully there'll be lots of blossom in the orchard in sort of April, May time, and then come June time there'll be the bird's foot trefoil and the meadow crane's bill, and then a bit later on in the year we'll have the knapweed and the like. So there should be sort of pollination sources here, sort of all the way through from April through to the back end of the summer, which will be great.